Hello, everybody. I'm Angelique from the Elijah Sisters. I am doing another video. I have a feeling some people probably might not like my point of view on this, but you know, it's my point of view. I'm almost 40, so that's just what it is. I will say that I'm kind of over people, you know, talking about what they don't like, what they do like, or whatever. That's just almost starts coming across as everybody doesn't like this, so I don't like it. So this is going to be on the it's going to be on the new movie from Jennifer Lopez, musical movie visual album from her called This Is Me Now. And so with this, I really feel that some people in ways are kind of coming into it as, I already don't like her, so I'm going to look at it as from that lens. So, you know, once you kind of deal with that, you deal with that. So this is my point of view. It's not probably going to be a popular opinion as what I've looked at. I should say the titles I've seen. I haven't looked at anything because I didn't want to look at anything before I recorded my video. I might look at some other things that after I've recorded mine, but as of right now, no. So looking at that, I will say that it's not as bad as what I think people think it is. Now, I haven't looked at the documentary that's kind of connected to this, and I don't plan to because I'm not a big fan of those type of documentaries that are like artist documentaries. Like I really like Beyonce, and I've never watched hers, and I don't really plan to because let me phrase that. I might watch it, but not anytime soon, you know, but that's just kind of where I am. Like, I really enjoy documentaries, but I like documentaries on certain things, not necessarily like artist documentaries or things like that. So if I'm looking at things like that, if you heard me burp, I'm sorry. If you see me looking at things like that, that's one thing. But just looking at artist documentaries, that's not really my flow. Like one of my favorite documentaries that I've looked at and recommended to other people to watch is Nixium, I think it's called. But that one, like, I just like those type of documentaries, not just artists. So that's that. Moving on, because this is about a specific thing. So looking at that, that's kind of where I am with that. So I don't plan to watch her documentary, but I've watched the musical, whatever you want to call it. This Is Me Now. I've watched that maybe 3 or 4 times, and I don't have a problem with it. You know, I really like it. So I'm going to get into my opinion on it throughout this video. You might not enjoy it. You know, I know it's a lot of things, but I'll go through that as we go along. So let's get started. So my main question is, so like, are we like now, you know, deciding we don't understand how musicals work? That's my main question. So this movie is like more of a visual album than a musical. And if you've ever seen any visual albums, they are different than what a traditional musical would be. So like I've watched several of those, and they feel like they really remind me a lot like this. If you've ever seen them, you know, a visual album is mainly obviously based off of the person's album that's looking at certain things like the the artist's music. It's like every scene is based on the artist's music, not just acting. So even though This Is Me Now has actors and scenes and a storyline, the main plot is very clear to me that it's mainly based off her music. And that's just kind of how I feel watching a bunch of different ones. So that's what that. So it starts with the story of the legend of the Hummingbird. That's how Jennifer Lopez starts it. And when you're looking at it, is she goes through her storyline of talking about the legend of the Hummingbird with Alita and Taru, and it's like I think they call it it's a Puerto Rican myth because she's Puerto Rican. Jennifer Lopez, the person, is Puerto Rican, which, you know. So it starts with like two young lovers. They met accidentally at a pool in the forest, and then, you know, the Alita's father, she discovers that like, oh no, they can't be together, and like, no, you can't be with this person, and because she has been arranged to marry another man, but she's like, you know, I really love Taru, but her father doesn't agree with that. So she prays to the gods and to like get her out of this, and like, I don't want to, you know, do this, all these kind of stuff. And then, and then they like the gods grant her wish, and turn her into, I think it's a red flower. And then Taru, who had been looking for her but didn't know what what's her name, Alita's, what had done, he's like, okay, so I don't know what's happened to her. He doesn't know what the plan is, so he's looking for her, and he doesn't know she's been transformed into a flower. So they waited, waited each night by the pool to see, in the forest, to see into the moon. Took pity on Taru and told him what happened to Alita, and then he begged the gods to help him find her, and then they complied. They helped him out finally and turned Taru into a hummingbird. So as the hummingbird is always looking for her, but she's as a flower waiting for him. So that's kind of how the story works. And it's blended into this movie. So, which I kind of like that it has at least a couple different bases and things like that to work with. So that's how it starts. Like, she's talking about Jennifer Lopez's character is talking about the story, and also Jennifer Lopez is talking about the story. So that's how it kind of starts. So it's like, it starts as this story that she heard growing up, and then when she kind of goes from there, and then the movie starts from that point. At the beginning, Jennifer Lopez is saying she wants to be in love. And so it's not really saying that all girls, all women should like want that. That's like the goal. If you're like a girl, a woman, or identify as a woman, that's not the goal. So the goal is really nothing, because she doesn't really talk about it as a goal. She talks about as like, when I was growing up. Like, when I was growing up, this is what I wanted. And it's not one way or the other. She's like, when I was growing up, I wanted this. But she's not saying this is a good goal. She wasn't saying she was right for thinking that. She wasn't saying anything. She was just saying, it's no different than, a person being like, oh, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a dragon tamer. Like, it's just a thought as when she was growing up as a child. So she's saying that in the movie. And then, that's kind of her thing. She was like, when I'm, she remembers saying that when she was younger, what she thought, that's what she always wanted to be, was in love. So that's kind of bothered me when I see people on TikTok, when I've seen people use some of those TikToks or even use those talking points in their video to be like, she's saying all girls need to be in love. No, that's not even the point of the movie at all. Not even close. So that's like that's really just her saying, this is what I thought I wanted when I was growing up. That was my goal growing up, which that's not even a new thing for me. I've heard other people say that. So, her to talk about it, that's not a bad thing. It's really not a bad thing. So, from that, then it goes into Rex Stone, this character Rex Stone that's like a talking head on like a news network, like CNN, Fox, and MSNBC, yada, yada, yada. So, with him, he was like legitimately one of my favorite characters, and I didn't even know who he was. I just was like, oh, this is interesting. I like how they kind of blended that in. To the in credits, I didn't know who he was. But I was extremely surprised that was Ben Affleck. I didn't know. I didn't even pick up that was him, because it just didn't, like, once I knew that was him, then I looked at his face and I was like, oh, it is him. But it just didn't click in my mind because he didn't look like him. That's just, the stuff I've seen of his, he hasn't played roles like that. So I haven't really been engaged in enjoying a role like him, even including Batman. Come at me. He's not one of my favorite Batmans. Moving on. That's a whole nother conversation. But he's like already kind of like giving clues as to like what the real more of the story is, and which kind of leads into like the dance moment in the movie at this point. So like this takes you into the Heart Factory from that point. And so the Heart Factory, it has like a breakdown, like the heart in the factory is having like a breakdown. And so this goes into the song Hearts and Flowers, but the breakdown comes from, she's talking about the story of Alita and Taru, and it's a scene of like her with a man on a motorcycle, which is really, it's really just her. It's really just her. So that, it has like a motorcycle accident, and so that like kind of leads into like something's going on with her heart, something's a breakdown in a relationship, she's in love, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Excuse me. So that goes into Hearts and Flowers, the song. And so now I'm gonna, before I even get into anything else, Hearts and Flowers, I like. I know a lot of people keep showing that one clip of the dance when she's like doing that move with the other dancers, and I'm just like, as a person who actually has danced and has like trained, not like just, oh, I like to dance, but like real dancing, dancing can look weird. Dancing can look weird. And I kind of get tired of people not understanding dancing is not going to always look beautiful and elegant and whatever in your mind is like, dancing should look like this. Like, it's just not. It's just not. So looking at that, it's just, I'm not surprised it looked like that. I'm just not surprised it looks like that. And it depends, when you're looking, different choreographers choreograph a different, oh my God, even years later, that word. Choreographers, they choreograph a different way, all kind of different things. So that's kind of what you need to come into it as a mindset of, like really pay attention to what dancing really is, and knowing that dancing it doesn't always look pretty, you know. So that's kind of where I am when it comes to that. Like, some moves even look weird to me, but you know, it is what it is. It didn't bother me. I actually liked a lot of the choreography in it. The song, Hearts and Flowers, it's not, obviously it's not one of my favorite songs, but it's not a horrible song at all. Like, not even a little bit. But I definitely did like the scene as a whole, that whole, how they did it, you know. Even, you know, that's just kind of how I feel with that. And again, I'm a musical lover, and when it comes to musicals, they can definitely look corny. Like, they just can. I love Sound of Music. I love like Chicago, all kind of different ones, but they can be corny and weird. Just period. They can. But that doesn't mean they're bad. Like, for me to make a musical bad, I can't make a musical bad. What? To name a musical for me to think it's bad, it has to have other things outside of like corniness. Because it's another musical series on what's the one I'm thinking about? The I'm going blank on it now, but it was on Apple TV, and it was like, I think two seasons. I cannot think of it right now. I'll probably put the name up and what it is, like when I put it together. But yeah, that one, it's just like, that's the thing. It's like, different musicals are just different things. You know, that's one of my favorite musicals as well. I just can't think of the name. Now, don't think it's not one of my favorite musicals because I can't think of the name. I'm just bad at names. Moving on. So, now, some of the effects, I will say that some of the effects, like with the, it had like lightning around the heart. It's a little janky. It's a little weird. but that, you know, that's one thing. So, you know, that's that. But it's like, if you look at it, it's really, it's no worse than like a music video or a lower budget musical who kind of like try to do stuff, but it's just not quite there. So that's kind of what I noticed. It's like, if they had a little bit more budget, somebody that could kind of work with the technicals, like the CGI and stuff like that, might have made it look a little bit better. But I will say 20 million, even though it's a lot to like have in your hand, like if I had 20 million, I wouldn't make a movie. I would just live my life and pay some bills off and go on about my business. But that's that. But like 20 million for a movie is actually not that much, especially when you start using effects, artists, all kind of stuff. It's just not a lot. It's just not a lot. So the fact that I'm seeing some things that are iffy on effects is not surprising. It is really not surprising at all. Like, I've seen worse and I've seen better. You know, that's just, you know, and I have seen better movies, but they're also not using, with 20 million or less, they're not using effects. So when I've seen better movies, they're not using any type of effects to make it look better. They're usually putting that money into, maybe locations, putting money into the actress or actresses or whatever, actors or actresses. I mean, that's what I see with that amount of money. They're not because they know putting that into that effects will kind of make you iffy on everything else. That's what I've seen. But moving on. So that's kind of, that part of the movie so far is that's my issues, not issues, likes, dislikes from that part of the I'm gonna from this point on call it a visual album because it's not a musical, it's a visual album. But that's what I've seen with that so far at this point in the movie. So going from that is the Jennifer Lopez character in The Factory is called the artist. And so she's not a real character at this point in the story. She is I don't know what the word I'm thinking about. I'm going blank. But like she's obviously in it, but she's like not really a part of the whole visual album. She's like kind of like a dream character. So that's where that starts. After all of that, more Hearts and Flowers, and you see the artist, and you see all of this backstory, then she like kind of like wakes up, and then that goes into the song, not the song, the scene. It transitions into the real world where her therapist is Fat Joe. Now with Fat Joe, he is the quietest as I have ever heard him. Like he is, I've never seen him this quiet. Like anywhere. Like he's loud. He is a loud person. So her therapist is Fat Joe. And then her current partner that she thinks is their match because he's a Libra. And let me go back. So she's talking to Fat Joe about how she's had this, this is what she's been thinking about. This is her dream. This is what's going on. And he's like talking to her about, what does she think it means and all these kind of things. So that's what she's talking to about. Ignore that. I'm going to fix it on camera and you'll be fine. But like she's telling him what she thinks it means, whatever. And then that transitions into kind of like the next scene in a way where she's waking up, and which I watched a few times, so it could be that, it could be not, but she's not sure on what, I'm not sure on what is a dream or not. I think it's kind of like scenes, like I think the artist is not real, and then she goes to the scene with Fat Joe where it's her therapist, and then it goes to the next scene, and I think the therapist in this next scene are real. Real world. So her current partner, I don't know the actor's name, I forgot to look it up, but she thinks that they're a match because he's a Libra, and she starts going to all this kind of stuff. And pause, I am not a person who will ever have an issue of people that believe in signs and all that kind of things. I believe in signs, but I don't think they're like end all be all. They're just a tool. So it's like, okay, this makes sense, but also this makes sense. That's what I believe. You don't have to agree. Just don't act like a beehole or an a-hole. Beehole, what? An a-hole. Going back. So she starts telling him about how they're a match, and because he's like meticulous and helps her stay focused, and all this kind of stuff, he gets mad, like, out of nowhere. Like, she wasn't insulting him, nothing. He gets mad. So that triggers him, and then he starts becoming like aggressive and abusive and all this kind of stuff. And then the more she tries to like explain the different attributes and traits of a Libra, then he gets more mad. Which I'm just like, that's okay. That's already red flag. Like red, all over the place. And then he is already he's already been drinking through the day, and he's like, I think he like punches the wall, like it's like she's like in this glass apartment, which is, it connects to the rest of the scene, but like this glass apartment, and he like punches the wall. Excuse me. And so he's already like drinking. He's an abusive person anyways, so the drinking already, you know, elevates that behavior. And like the more he becomes violent, and then he does he says the thing, which is just like, in real life as well as in media, he says the thing. He's like, he gets mad at her, and he like punches the wall behind her. And he's like, look what you know, why do you make me do this? And it's like, that's not how abuse works. But you not even downing the scene, that's when you hear people that are abusive, that's not how abuse works. It doesn't matter. Nobody can make you be abusive. You're abusive. So that leads into the song Rebound. So when it comes to the song Rebound, then it shows like different abuse situations, which I will say I do like whoever idea it was, whether it was hers or directors, choreographers, whatever, whoever idea it was, I applaud, because they show the different people that are abusive. So they show the heterosexual couple, which is her and Jennifer Lopez and her partner, which is a man, and then that shows a man being abusive to a woman. They show two lesbians, which is one of the women being abusive to the women. They show a homosexual couple, male couple, a man being abusive to another man, and they also show a woman being abusive to the man. So I do like that they portray the different ways, that it's not just, you know, we're gonna be abusive to just men and women, like a man being abusive. Like, I do like whoever's idea that was. I really enjoyed that they showed, not enjoyed, ooh, that sounds weird. But they showed that is, you know, abuse is not just it's not just a man being abused to a woman. It's abuse can be different amalgamations and different things. So I do like that they actually showed that to represent the different ways abuse can happen. I applaud whoever idea was that was. So I will say that, like, the lyrics, like they make you feel, like they make you emotionally feel what you're like could be dealing with in a rebound relationship. And I've never been necessarily in a rebound relationship, but I know people that have been in a rebound relationship, and like the fact that they visually show with like the bands, which I love. I love the choreography with the bands, where it's like every time somebody tries to get away, like Jennifer Lopez and I think the lesbian couple and the other heterosexual couple with the woman being abusive to the man, all had like the bands that stretched, and like the homosexual, the men, the gay couple The reason I'm saying like lesbian because it's like it's a couple different gay, homosexual, whatever. So like that, I think the two men, they had like this like net, that was like, how do I? It was like it was like a net. It was like a net of that, you know. It was that was, I think, the only one that they showed. Like the guy that was being abused, he was like kept like in this net type thing, and like the guy that was abusing him was like constantly over him and kept him trapped in that. Which I just like the different visuals that they showed. That's what I really liked, the visuals of it, and I like the choreo too. That was amazing. So after this goes into the signs. It goes into the signs. So that goes into the zodiac council. I love the zodiac council. I really love the zodiac council. So the zodiac council, zodiac. I'm gonna say zodiac because it could be zodiac council. So it has Jay Shetty as Aries. It has Neil deGrasse Tyson as Taurus, and Neil deGrasse Tyson is Neil deGrasse Tysoning. Jennifer Lewis as Gemini, so she plays a dual role. Post Malone is Leo. Kim Petras is Virgo, and whoever does it. No, let me go back. Why did I skip? Jennifer Lewis is Gemini. Sofia Vergara as Cancer, and Sofia Vergara is amazing. She looks amazing still, no matter what Miss Pearly thinks about her age and whatever. Okay. Post Malone is Leo, and he is. I like him in this role. He's like flip floppy. And then the Kim Petras then is Virgo, and Kim Petras, she is a trans woman pop star, and she has been in a song with Sam Smith. If you don't know who she is, she's amazing. Trevor Noah is Libra, and Keke Palmer as Scorpio. Jane Fonda as Sagittarius, and I'm gonna put his name up. But I said Sadhguru as Pisces. So I'm not gonna be mad. You're not gonna be mad that I'm trying not to be. I feel a little ignored that I don't see Capricorn. Like I wish they had a Capricorn because I am Capricorn. But my Vedic sign is Sagittarius, so I'll take Jane Fonda because I love me some Jane Fonda. She's present, so I'll take her. So Leo, which is Post Malone, I believe. Yeah, Post Malone was he was extremely messy and flip floppy, but hilarious. I loved how he did it. Now, nobody, their actor names are just the signs. Nobody is kind of doing certain things. So they're like Jane Fonda is Sagittarius. She's not like Jane Fonda playing Paula playing Sagittarius. So her character name is that. That's how they kind of did that. Nobody really had names in it. If you watch it, it's her, a lot of her friends, they're archetypal names. So say somebody was real stern, they would be Mr. Stern. And then you would have to, when you look at the Wikipedia or IMDb, you would see that person. But that's kind of how they do that in this. And then I think one character, one of her friends, they get a name later on in the movie. So Scorpio, like I love Scorpio. Scorpio, Kiki Palmer was amazing. She was amazing. I love her. She was like hilarious. She was amazing. So she was calling everyone out. She was keeping everybody in line. And then Sagittarius, whoop, whoop, that's me, was trying to keep people calm and focused, which is me. Like, that's actually my personality. Capricorn and Sagittarius is very much just like, hey, let's try this. Let's focus on this. Let's try to be calm. Let's focus on things. That's what Sagittarius does. That's kind of what happened with that. What words? Kind of what happens with that. Okay, so after all that, that's what takes you into her marriage song. I think Can't Get Enough. Can't Get Enough. And that's for me, it's a little bop, I'm like, okay, can't get enough. And like that, that's it's just one of the songs that you just have playing. It might not necessarily be your favorite song. It might not, all that type of feeling, but it's just, it's just a little, I can't get enough. And it gives you a little bop moment for me. So now when it starts, it does give you a little moment of Jennifer Lopez's hoo-ha or her vagine. This the way her costuming is cut in the, not costume, but her wedding dress costuming is made. It's like, I don't know why they made it like that, but like it's cut like here, like in the midriff, then it's like it cuts like high between her legs. I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, if you can pull it off and not whatever, have fun. So like my favorite thing of this scene with her wedding is that it flips between, like, she's married 3 times. Her and the character is married 3 times, and so it flips between each marriage and wedding, but it looks like all one wedding. So you see the different husbands, you see all that, but it's like the costuming doesn't change, and the song doesn't change. So I do like the way they did that. And I don't really know the other husbands, but I do know Derek Hough. Yeah. Derek Hough, wherever I put it. Derek Hough. Whatever his name is. He's husband number 2. And he's amazing. Like, he's an amazing dancer. So to have him as one of her husbands, that you already know the choreography in that was amazing, because it just oh my god, it's so great. So that's what I really liked about that, because I've seen, like, he's just amazing, him and his sister, but but we're talking about him right now. He's just, oh my god, he's so good. He's just so good. He's just really good. He's just really good. So that goes from that, and then that goes back into the Zodiac Council, which every time they show up is amazing. It's just amazing, because they're very entertaining. Each person is very entertaining. I really like that. And then I as I said, Post Malone's character is just he's flip-floppy, but he's like, somebody will say something, and like he'll say something, and then somebody will say something else, and he'll be like, yeah, I agree, but it's like, you said the opposite. So I do like how he played that. Like, I definitely like how he kind of worked with that. That was amazing. That was very very good how he did that to me. And so that takes you into, if I'm not mistaken, it goes into a scene where she comes into the house and she's like drunk and like goofy, and then her new boyfriend, which is like, he's not a real boyfriend, like he's so not, he's just really not. So that comes with her new boyfriend, and then like her friends are like there, like, what's going on with you, like she's, him and the boyfriend are trying to be like, all like, oh, it's fine, nothing's wrong. And then her friends are like, okay, what is this? What is this? They're Jennifer Lopez and the new boyfriend, they're like, I love you too, you're so amazing. And it's just like, no, you do not believe this. You don't believe this. You just don't believe this. So that goes into like her friend trying to have like a relationship intervention, and then like she starts calling out her friends on their issues, which calling out her friends on their issues, they are she starts like their archetypes. She's like calls out them for like the archetypes, like as she goes by each friend, which is kind of true, because they've made them archetypes. They're not like fully fledged all the way characters. That's how she does that. So after all that, then she like gets like really emotional, and she asks like, what's like, why are y'all mad at me? Like, why are y'all having an issue? Why are y'all trying to make me have an intervention? What is the problem? Like, what is wrong with wanting to spend your life with someone? Like, that's the question she asked. And then like, that's actually a good question. Like, I'll speak from, so I will say that I don't feel that that's a problem. Like, if that's your goal, nah, don't do that, sis. But why is that an issue? Why is that an issue to only want to just be in love in a relationship? But if you do want to be in one, that's not a problem. Some people want to be in a relationship, period. They just do. It just is. Some people want to be in a relationship. Some people don't. Some people want kids. Some people don't. And that's just kind of how it is. And it's and when you're like only focus is that's not a good thing. But if that's one of the things you want, that's not a bad thing. Being in love and being in a relationship is not a bad thing. Wanting that is not a bad thing. Take it as you will. But so that takes us back into after all of that relationship, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. It goes to her being back in the office with her Fat Joe therapist. So she's like in this emotional monologue, and she's like talking about everything she wants, everything she doesn't want, yada yada yada, whoop whoop whoop. And then before she could even finish her whole emotional deep monologue, Sancho's alarm goes off, and I'm just like, that kind of just made me laugh. It made me laugh a little bit. Like, okay, what? She couldn't even enjoy it. So that goes to she goes to a Love Addicts Anonymous meeting, which I kind of liked. I kind of like how they transitioned to that after all of that before. So she's not, because her issue isn't wanting to be in a relationship, is that she's addicted to being in love. even if it's not healthy for her, even if it's not time for her, even if she needs to take some time for herself, which is, I think it's an amazing thing to do. As any person, like if you've had a bad relationship or a string of bad relationships and you've never taken a break, take a break. Take a break. Take a break. And take some time for yourself. So I do, like that they kind of at least show that, like, sometimes you just kind of like, maybe your issue isn't relationships, it's love. Like you need to just take a moment. So she goes to her Love Addicts Anonymous meeting, and that goes into the song Broken Like Me. Oh my gosh. Like, I really like that. Like, I really like that choreography. I like the song. Like, I'm sorry if I say the like a lot, but I just really enjoy the song. I really enjoy the choreography. I enjoy the dialogue in that's showing that she's had issues that she hasn't really worked through and all these kind of things. So I do like how that works. So I definitely like how they did that. I keep going back to the choreography is amazing. It's just like, it's really amazing. I know some people that goes back to the people who are like, dance, that looks weird. And I'm just like, again, if you've never taken a dance class, if you've never been a dancer, especially any type of trained dancer, you don't understand. Dance is weird. It looks weird. Period. It just looks weird. Because once you start getting into emotions, which is really how like all dance, outside of maybe like ballet and point, which is very structured, it's very much based on like your emotions and how you can emote these moves to show how you feel. So like, being angry is not a pretty emotion. Being emotionally broken is not a pretty emotion. So why would you make a pretty move for those emotions? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. So them doing that maybe might not look pretty, it makes more sense. Like if the whole point of the song is Broken Like Me, why would it look pretty? Why would it look cute? It would look broken. It would look weird. It would look off. It would look all these different things. So for me, it came across to me as very understandable. Like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Like, it's just like the different things, and the different dancers who kind of do variations of the move where she's like Broken Like Me, and it's just like, oh, it's just so good. I really like this song. I've actually played this song outside of my rewatches to prepare for this recording. I've actually played this song a few times, so that I really enjoyed this. So after that scene, after that was me doing that. After that scene, then it takes you to I think it takes you to it takes you to her getting up and she's getting ready to leave the house. The only reason I mentioned that is her husband is not her husband. I'm sorry. What? That's not words. What? Her husband is nowhere in this scene. I'm sorry. Her getting up and then her getting ready to leave or whatever. Her hat game. I have no words. I keep repeating it because it's just like, ooh, her hat game is on point. When she gets ready to leave and she meets her friend at the door, her hat game is fire. Okay, let me tell you, fire. Like, I want her whole outfit in this scene. Like, period. I want her whole outfit in this scene. So she's getting ready to walk out, and then she meets her friend at the door. She opens the door, her friend, the cynic, Mike. He gets a name, but that's played by Matthew Law. So he's been the cynic. So he's like, love isn't real, all that kind of stuff. So you get his character in it. And he meets her at the door and gives her an invitation to his wedding, which is so different for him because he's a cynic. He hasn't been like love is good, like nothing. Like, he's just been so against like what she believes. So that's how that works. And then she's like, what? All that kind of stuff. And then that leads into her, like, she goes to her therapist, and then she's like telling him about, Mike gave me a wedding invitation. And he's like, Mike? It's like, yeah. And she's like, oh, this is okay. What do you think? Are you taking somebody? Fat Joe therapist. He's like, are you taking somebody to go to the wedding and all this kind of stuff? And she's like, no, she kind of really doesn't know. She's like, this is just so different because it's like, I've always been the one relationship, and then it's like, what does that mean if Mike is getting married? So that once they have this conversation and dialogue, then it goes. She's like, has this dream of her child self. Sorry. Who she was like she has like cuts on her face, and like she's like looks like bedraggled. Oh, who uses that word nowadays? Bedraggled. And she just looks like roughed up or whatever. And then she's like, her child self is telling her, one thing, and she's like, oh, why don't you talk to me? She was like, they're having like this argument, like, why don't you talk to me? You don't talk to me, all this kind of stuff. And then the child self, her Lil J-Lo, that's easier for me to say, Lil J-Lo. She's like, okay, this, that, and the other. And then her Lil J-Lo tells her that you haven't wanted me. You haven't talked to me. I just wanted you to love me, basically. And so if you heard that, I want to be a little lady. And so she goes to this moment of like, I did love you. I'm sorry. And so she like apologizes to Lil J-Lo. Big J-Lo apologizes to Lil J-Lo. And so that happens, which I actually like that, because I fully believe that sometimes you do need to interact with your younger self, your child self, which really just like deal with your emotions, deal with your trauma. That's how I feel. Like, whatever you want to call it, like whatever you dealing with, you need to deal with it. If you want to think of it as your younger self, your child self, your past self, your whatever, deal with what you need to deal with and work through it. So that's that. So that after that whole scene, then it goes into This Is Me Now, the title track. So once it goes into This Is Me Now, then like her and Lil J-Lo, baby J-Lo, she's like, they're singing back and forth, and then Lil J-Lo, she starts becoming like Petals, which kind of loops back around to the Heart Factory, which connects it back, which I do like how they connect it back without making it clunky. So, the beginning of the what did I call it? What did I call it? The musical visual album. What causes the heart, like the heart in the heart factory to break down is that it's out of pedals. That's the problem. It can't have pedals. It's out of pedals. So because the baby J-Lo, she starts having pedals and she's like looping it back around, like the love, her giving herself love brings back the pedals. So I do like how they did that. And then then it comes back to Neil deGrasse Tyson, which is he's Neil deGrasse Tysoning. So I do like that. And then that we finally get to the wedding with Mike the Cynic. And that goes to Midnight Trip to Vegas, which is another little, for me, it's another little bop. It's another little bop. It's another little bop. For me, it's another little bop. It is. I love the visuals of this scene. And the song is good for me. It's a bop. It's a bop to me. I like what you like, don't like what you don't like. So like, but at this point, then Jennifer Lopez's character, she realizes that to get, she had to love herself. Like, she doesn't need to come with a date. She doesn't need to find another man. She doesn't need to get married again. She just came to the wedding by herself in an amazing gown. Amazing gown. Okay? Like, a lot of her costuming in this Point Blank is amazing. But like what she wears to the wedding, it's like this sequiny, feathery. It's, oh my God, it's so amazing. I love it. Amazing. So, once she, comes and you see she's like perfectly happy and fine being single. I don't want to say alone because you're never alone. You really never alone, but whatever. She's single. She's that's really the moral of the story, which is really that you should just love yourself and all this kind of stuff. And no matter what you identify as, love yourself first. Like, that's just really her thing. It's just like, love yourself first. Love yourself first. And then if you do the work, if you love yourself, if you want somebody, then you'll be in the place to accept that love. Which I love. It's amazing. So that goes into the song Hummingbird, which takes us back to Alita and Taro of the story of the myth, the Puerto Rican myth. So it's like, again, I say that's like, if you're, when you're happy with yourself, you've done all the work, you've done, whatever internal work you need to do, like dealing with any trauma, dealing with any past relationships, dealing with whatever you need to deal with, whatever you like. If you have low self-esteem, deal with that. If you have whatever, deal with that first, and then go from there. If you are looking for a relationship, if you're not looking for a relationship, still do the work, and you'll just be a happier person and a well-balanced person. That's what you got to do. But for this specific visual album and music, it's kind of just like, based on that in a way. But like, if you're doing the work you need to do, whatever, then the person you're looking for, whether it's another person or if it's the person is you, then you're ready to get that. So like the song, like one of the lines from Hummingbird is like, because you help me be the best version of me, and all I want to do is help you be the best version of you. So that's, if you're in a relationship, or that's really what a relationship to me is. It's that person helps you be the better you. It's not, then you help that person be the better version of them. But nothing is ever one way. So you shouldn't ever be the person that boosts up the other person. You should be equal. Like, us being in a relationship, makes you want to be better, makes you want to go stronger, makes you want to go higher, and vice versa. That's a relationship. So I do that's tell me that's not a good goal. Tell me that's not a good moral. If you want to be a relationship, like that's weird. That's weird to say it's not. If you don't want to be a relationship, then take the moral of this to be just do work on yourself and you'll be happy. That's that's the two morals of this. So this scene goes into like a little singing in the rain moment, which is very obvious to me because I do like how they kind of did those in that, like she kind of did both of those, which is amazing. And then after all of that, she tells Fat Joe like not to ever give up, don't ever give up on love, on happiness, all that kind of stuff. And he's like, what's wrong with you? And she's like, just don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. She's like finally just happy and at peace. That's really what this point in the movie is. She's like finally happy and at peace. Which I really like. I really like how that was just, her being at peace with herself had nothing to do with her getting into an ultimate relationship. Had nothing to do with anything. It had everything to do with just finding peace within herself. Like what's the movie? Devil Wears Prada. That's one of my favorite movies. I hate the end. I've despised the end. Cause it's like the ending is basically telling you give up on your goals and dreams to find love. Instead of being like, you don't have to be a woman that is horrible and mean to everybody to live, get your goals. But y'all basically went the other way to be like, give up everything. And then now we over here. She gave up like everything. Like she wanted to be a designer. She wanted to be all these things, but she gave it up to whatever. And then it's like it ends and she's just not doing any of that, but she's with the guy she loves. And I'm like, I hate that. I hate the ending. Like I like it all the way up to where she quits in the movie. So it's like when people are like saying that this movie, This Is Me Now, is giving that moral of that, it's actually not. Devil Wears Prada is actually giving that moral that y'all saying it is. That's that. Because when you look at Devil Wears Prada, it's really telling you that. It's like she gave up her job, she gave up her dreams, but now she's with the guy she loves. So it's all good. But he who acted like a little bit of a butthead, he gets his goal. He gets to be a chef. He gets to be everything. But she doesn't have that. She's like not doing that but she gets the guy she loves. No. So this moral is actually better because it's really saying love yourself. Give yourself love first. And then it ends with her getting back with the guy the movie started with, which is Ben Affleck, even though they don't show his face. Is her getting back with that guy, and then her getting back with him from the beginning because that he is the Hummingbird. But the fact that they never show his face is fine. But like the guy on the motorcycle in the beginning, the Hummingbird, that all that is him. So she gets back with the guy that she really wanted to be with, that really loves her and she really loves. That's, but she could only get back with him what she dealt with herself, which I like. So I didn't have a problem with that, at all. I don't have a problem with that moral. So I would say my main summary, which is a few things, of this movie is that I'm not a stan of J-Lo at all. I'm not a stan, not even close to it. not an uber fan, not an amazing fan, nothing. But I do like her. So I'm coming from this as a person who's just like, I don't have a major issue with her, but I do like her. So I don't like when people exaggerate when something is bad. And then, like, as a person who, like, I like watching all different types of movies that aren't even close to being bad. Not even close. So, like, this to me was good as a good visual album. Kind of a musical, but definitely a visual album, because a visual album and a musical to me are two different things. So it was a good visual album to me. I definitely enjoy other things like more that are in this wheelhouse. Just more between the two. So that's just, this is not my top. If I looked at a visual album or a musical, this would not be at the top of my list. But it is something that I would look at again. Honestly, I like the top. I had me rewatching it. It's not that bad. But I'm not gonna be over here acting like that it was so horrible. Oh, it was the worst thing I've ever seen in the history of ever. That's a lie. I'm not gonna do it. Now I have added the album and to my YouTube music and my Spotify playlist just to play. And I've listened to it going to the store. I've gone back and listened to other songs, all that, no problem. All that. So, and again, let's have a real sit down conversation. Y'all ready to have a conversation? She's 54. She is 54 years old. I'm 39. I wish I looked like her physically. Not because she's had work. Let's be for real. But I'm just saying, physically, even like, and a lot of people, oh, she might have had body work. Body work don't make you move like that. Let me be the same movement as her. Let at 54. Like, I know people love to say, oh, she's not the best. She be off a couple counts. Really? We're doing that now? She's off a couple counts. Okay, cool. Whatever. She's good. She's to be able to keep up like that, and she's still doing tours. Whole tours. Not, oh, she does a couple shows here and there. Tours. Do you, J-Lo? Applause. Cause I know I'm not at that level to be doing no tour. I know I'm not. So that's, I don't like when people just say stuff. Like, you don't have to think that she's the best singer and dancer to ever sing and dance. No, I don't believe that. I don't agree with that. I'll never have. Period. But like to act like she's not an amazingly talented artist, like, just if you just look at what she can do on the stage, okay, we just gonna lie. We can all lie. Period. So that's just kind of how I feel with that. But you don't have to like her, but don't lie. That's how I feel about that. Now I have heard about like some industry stuff. Some of the stuff I've heard is like, that's the industry. Like, if you don't like the industry, then you need to look into the industry and you need to be talking about that, because the industry is very bad as a whole. That's why so many people, artists now, don't really want to get into the industry like that. They'd rather just put stuff on YouTube and put music out like that independently, because it's so bad. It's so bad. But if you're not going to do that, if you're not going to have that real conversation about how bad the industry has been for decades, for generations, and forget decades, generations, then don't have that conversation. because some of the stuff people are saying that she's done, so have other people. It's people that have people are like, oh, her vocals have been other people's vocals. Yeah, she's not the only person, male, female, or any other gender or genre. That's not the first person. It is what it is, but I'm like, y'all people, if you're like, that's what I'm saying, you don't have to like her, but bring up stuff that's real. Like, I know some of the stuff I've heard, I'm like, if y'all are gonna have, I'm like, I don't even want to bring up his name, her ex, the ex. I'm like, why would you, like, this man is currently doing court trials, currently being sued, currently being all these different things of being like horrible to his partners and people that aren't in relationship with him, male, female, and other. But somehow, when him and her were together, she was the problem. Okay. I'm not saying she's a perfect person. I'm not saying she's super nice, but let's be for real. If he was this horrible to all his other partners and all his other people around him, why would he be nice to her? Okay. Anyways, I'm not getting into that because I'm just not getting. What I've looked at and dealt with has nothing to do with the video I'm making right now. It has literally, my focus is on. It has really only thing to do with this movie. This Is Me Now on Amazon Prime. That's it. So that's as what it is, I like it. I liked it. Like, I have no problem. I've recommended to people to watch if they like musicals and visual albums. Visual albums and musicals are fluff. They're always fluff. They're like, even the deepest, amazing one is they're fluff. Like, there are some that are way deeper and way more emotionally involved, but a lot. And if you look at as a whole in generalization, fluffy. So that's what it is. This is fluff. If you just want something fluff that you're not going to get, you ain't got to worry about being emotionally traumatized, then it's fluff. It's fluff. It is what it is. So, that's just kind of how I feel about that. And then it's songs of hers I like. There are songs from off the top of my head. I know her AKA album that came out like 10 years ago. That I know off the top of my head that I heard, because I just listened to some of them again 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I listened to, I think, when I went to the store the other day, and I listened to Let It Be Me. That's one of her like ballads. The title track, AKA, and Booty. Now, I have issues with, not issues, I have thoughts on T.I. and Iggy Azalea, which are in 2 of her songs that I just named. But the songs themselves, I've listened to them repeatedly. Like, just play. Like, her music for me, like, I'm not, like, it's some of her slower songs that I do like. But, like, a lot of her songs, if they're, like, her, like, more up-tempo, clubby, beat bop type songs, those I listen to like, clean, if I'm cleaning up, if I want to cook and I just want to have music playing while I'm cooking, or just, like, if I'm getting ready to go somewhere and I want to have some hype music. That's kind of what I listen to her for. I do not ever listen to her music and be like, oh, this is amazing. I just don't. Like, I have never listened to her music and thought, oh my gosh, this music is like the best thing I've ever heard in the history of ever. Oh my gosh, I've never heard music so good. Like, no, that's just not, that's not how I listen to her music. But, if I just want to hear some music and it's like, oh, I want to hear something that's just to listen to and do something with, fine. That's what I listen to. that's where I am with that. So like, if people are like more honest, that I think a lot of people. No, let me not say a lot. I think some people, especially when it comes to like TikTok and even YouTube, I think some people are literally just saying stuff to say they don't like her because it's popular and they don't know they get clicks and views. And then some people are saying that to say, to be honest and be like, I don't like it. And I think it's a mix of that. So I know I watched, before I decided to do this video, I watched a couple people's videos. I'm not naming names because that's not a big deal, because I did like the video as a whole, because I like the person. But they were like showing a clip of a TikTok, and there's like this lady. She was like, how did she put it? She was like, the goal. She was like, I can't. This was so bad because the moral of the movie is that girls and young women should be, the goal should be that they want to be in a relationship. Okay, no, you're lying, because that wasn't the moral of the movie at all. That's what I'm saying. I don't like people why lie to get clicks? Or I know it was I saw a few people that were like in their, like a young women that were in their 20s. And they were like, I didn't see this. She talked about this. Now this is about the documentary, which I haven't watched and I have no desire to watch. And they were like, she how did she phrase it? She was like, she was talking about, yeah, that's what it was. Jennifer Lopez was talking about this food, like some certain foods she liked back in her hometown. And people were like, I don't know what she's talking about. That was, you know, that I don't know what she's talking about. I don't see that here. I've never heard of that here. And here's my thing. Jennifer Lopez is 54 years old. The people that were talking about her are in their 20s. I'm 39 years old. I have some nieces and nephews and younger people I know that are in their 20s. If I talk about something from my hometown, then maybe I'm talking about something that those people might not know because it doesn't exist anymore, or it's called something different. And so, like, if you actually look at some of the comments of some of these people, you'll see that the people are like, okay, well, I knew about it. Like, looking in the comments, people are like, well, yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's called this. But people don't talk about that. That's the stuff I'm saying. Like, don't just keep making it seem like she's lying about stuff because you don't like her or it's popular not to like her. So it's like, if she's 54 and you're in your 20s, maybe what she's talking about is either the place she's talking about doesn't exist anymore, or she doesn't, it's not there. Like, it's just, the place is either not there or it's called something else. Have you ever thought about that? Cause like when I see people talking about, I don't know what she's talking about. She from here, I've never heard of that. You're in your 20s. She's 54 years old, and she hasn't lived in that area for decades, or for years. So, what are you talking about? Anyways, not my point. So I will end this by saying this. The character of Rex, is, obviously played by Ben Affleck. I think I've said it by this point. This is one of my favorite characters of his. I have, I've seen some movies of his. He's not one of my favorite actors at all, not even close. But it's like, I don't know if he just had more fun. I don't know if he was able to relax. I don't know, because the fact he didn't have to play Ben Affleck playing a character, but he just did a way better job. He did a way better job as what I've seen in, not everything, because there's some movies I do like of his, but it's good. Like, it's just really good. I know I said it before earlier. He's not at all one of my favorite Batmans. I know people love him. I know some people that's like, oh, he's amazing. Okay, cool, whatever. Not my point. But I think his character as Rex did a very good job in this. He was in the movie. He had, I think, two end credit scenes. At least one. I know he had an end credit scene. But he had a couple scenes that were, I did like what he was saying, that were I did like the point of what he was saying. So I did like that. And I think, I don't know, he actually seemed more relaxed in this, I think. I would say, let me rephrase. I think he seemed more relaxed in this, comparing it to how, I don't know. I don't want to compare it to anything, but he just seemed more. I don't know. He seemed like he had more fun in doing it or something. I just liked him better in this. I think the last movie I liked of his was, oh my god, he played like I was about to say it. He played an accountant. The Accountant was the last movie I saw of his that I just like. Oh, I liked him in that. So he just seemed more relaxed in it. So I did like his character in that. So as a whole, I like the visual album, the musical, whatever you want to call it. I do not have any plans to watch the documentary. I'm not going to watch the documentary. I'm not going to review the documentary. I'm not going to talk about the documentary. I'm not even going to talk about any drama, anything around Jennifer Lopez. Not my point. That's not my wheelhouse. So that's just kind of where I'm with that. So if you just want to listen to watch a good, not or watch just a nothing fluff visual album musical, I think This Is Now is good. If you're looking for something deep, it's other stuff you can watch, but just watch both. So that's where I am. Like when I recommend it to people, that's kind of what I say. So that's my end of it. Then definitely make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. The Alliance Sisters, we're going to be putting out more and more content. So I think I already know what I want to do next. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but we got some more stuff coming. Chantilly is putting out some more astrology content that you definitely need to check out. That she's talking about how to love yourself for certain things. Leah's going to be putting out more content that you need to definitely be watching. She does a lot of stuff for This Is What a Fighter Looks Like for Cancer, hot topics, abuse, all kind of different things. She does a lot of different things. And then we're going to just be putting out more content as just all three of us together talking about different things. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Make sure you ring the bell. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like, share it, comment, do all the things. Have you done all the things? I don't think you've done all the things. Do all of the things. So keep an eye out for us, and can't wait to see you next time.